Shalom, shalom, Israel. I will be the teacher for today. My name is Elisha. Shout out to the Sword of Truth family. The brothers in Houston, the brothers in Virginia, Rochester, Cobb, Amiataza in London. You know, all those that are striving for truth, striving for masteries lawfully. Shalom to you all. Today's topic is going to be called, Am I Drunk in the Spirit? Am I drunk in the spirit? Now, we have to preface that because we're not talking about drunkenness in the flesh due to wine or alcohol or liquors. We're talking about a spiritual drunkenness. And to establish that, the definition of drunk is intoxicate. So I'm trying to get this fragrance going. Intoxicate. Now we're going to be focusing on the root of intoxicate through majority of the class because there's a lot in that definition itself. So someone give me the 1828 of intoxicated. 1828 of intoxicated.
Is that a short word? Only that short word.
Let me see. No, not intoxicate. Intoxicate. That's what I meant. 1828. It's the second one.
Intoxicate?
Yep. Intoxicate.
Intoxicate. In the 1828. Second definition. To excite the spirits to a kind of delirium.
So when a man or a woman is in a spirit of intoxication, or they have intoxicate, it means their spirits or their mind is in an excited state of delirium. Now, while he's reading that, someone give me delirium, and somebody else give me definition of madness. Keep reading that and intoxicate. So we're talking about delirium and madness. These are the traits of intoxicate.
To elate to enthusiasm, frenzy, or madness.
So a man or woman that has a spirit of drunkenness on them has two defining factors attached to their spirit. That is delirium and madness. These are the roots of intoxicating. So someone give me delirium and someone give me madness. I know we're going off of definitions in the beginning, but it's important to establish that because that's going to be the focal point of our class. Read that.
Delirium, to wander in mind, to rave.
Give me the one that says a state in which.
Gotcha. Yeah. Delirium, a state in which the ideas of a person are wild.
So when someone has a mind frame, a delirious or a mind of delirium, it says their mind, their ideas are wild. Read.
Irregular.
And
unconnected.
So a person with the mind or spirit of delirium is a state in which the ideas of a person are wild, irregular, and unconnected, or what?
Or do not correspond with the truth.
This is a person whose mind, ideas, or way of thinking don't make any sense. Rationally doesn't make any sense. When in ordinance or in a connection with the truth, it doesn't correspond. Somebody give me the definition of madness.
God, madness.
The number one.
God, distraction.
No, it's like give me the extreme folly.
Okay, God. Extreme folly,
Headstrong
passion, and rashness that act in opposition to reason.
So not only does an intoxicated person or a drunk person in the spirit have wild, irregular, and unconnected thoughts that don't correspond with the truth, but it also is showing that they're extremely passionate about their contrary reasoning. They're extremely headstrong about their reason that's in opposition of the truth. And there's extreme foolishness behind their actions. So when we're establishing the drunkenness spirit, we have to understand the Most High didn't originally intend for us to have this mind frame. We weren't meant to have this instability in the mind. A mind where nothing makes sense. A mind where the thoughts and the ideas are irregular. They don't correspond with reality. You have a separation of reality. So to get that, to prove that, let's go to 2 Timothy chapter 1 and verse 6 through 7. See, that wasn't originally what the Most High had intended for us. We're going to find out what spirit did the Most High want from us. Read this.
Okay. 2 Timothy chapter 1.
I need spirit. I need energy.
Okay. 2 Timothy chapter 1 verse 6. Wherefore I put thee in remembrance that thou stir up the gift of the Most High.
So the gift of the Most High, which is stirred, was established, was identified, and was built through what? Read.
Which is in thee by the putting on of my hands.
So the reality is, a lot of these spiritual gifts that we have, or that we've known or have come to understand about ourselves, was built and was brought to light by our teachers. What Paul is saying is, I helped stir up the gift that was already inside you. My job as a teacher is to show you the better way, so Christ can give you the spiritual gift. So Christ can give you the spiritual gift which He originally intended for us. We're going to keep proving that. Read on.
Verse 7. For the Most High hath not given us the spirit of fear.
Because contrary to what our people are normally engulfed in, contrary to the spirit in which our people normally inhabit, which is fear, that wasn't what originally was planned for us. So you need a teacher to show you how not to be fearful. You need a teacher to show you how to have faith in Christ. And once you have that characteristic, you can start growing. But that is for a different class. That's another topic. But what other spiritual gift did He give us?
But of power and of love.
So the Most High gave us a spirit of power and a spirit of love. And as we know, our people don't have natural love. Our people by nature are very selfish. By nature, it's hard for us to find love even within our own family members, nonetheless within random strangers. So when you're in Christ, when you're willing to listen, when you're willing to follow, when you're willing to learn, you start developing or stirring up that gift of loving yourself. But what is the point? What is the spiritual gift in which correlates to drunkenness? Or it's the opposite of drunkenness? Read on.
And of a sound mind.
So a sound mind, it was originally the gift in which the Most High had for us. It was not a state in which a person's ideas are wild, irregular, and unconnected, or don't correspond with the truth. It was not a spirit in which a man is extreme in his folly, or has headstrong passion, and that's opposite to reason. That wasn't the mind frame which the Most High had originally intended for us to have. If we were willing to follow, and to allow our teachers, our instructors, to bring the best out of us, to bring the God out of us, we would have a sound mind. But that's not the state which we're in right now. Go to Psalms 18 and verse 26. Psalms 18 and verse 26.
Psalms chapter 18 and verse 26.
Because the question is, if a sound mind was a gift from the Most High, then why would a person be in a state of delirium or madness? Psalms 18 and verse 26. Read that.
With the pure, thou wilt show thyself pure.
So with the pure, the Most High will show yourself pure. When your mind's pure, when your intentions are pure, the Most High will reciprocate that same spirit to you. So I'm going to give you a definition of froward. Read on.
And with the froward, thou wilt show thyself froward.
And this is important, because if you aren't pure, if your mindset isn't on the Most High, if your mindset is unwilling to learn, then He's going to give you an opposite spirit. He said, to the froward, thou wilt show thyself froward. Give me a definition of froward.
Froward in the 1828. Perverse.
Now, someone give me that definition of perverse. We're going to use that definition later. But keep reading.
Verse 27.
No. The definition, I need another definition of perverse, because that point is going to be used in another scripture. So, forward first.
Froward, perverse, that is, turning from with aversion or reluctance.
So a froward person is reluctant to change. We just read that Paul helped stir up the spirit or the blessing of the Most High in him, which was a sound mind. But a person who's unwilling to listen to his teachers, his elders, the counselors, that spirit of a sound mind will not be given to that man. Read on.
Not willing to yield or comply with what is required.
Because that person is unwilling to yield. They're unwilling to change. They're unwilling to learn. Now give me that definition of froward. I mean, not froward. Perverse.
Perverse. Definition 1. Literally, turn aside. Hence, distorted from the right.
Give me two. Yes.
It says, perverse. Definition 2. Obstinate in the wrong.
Now write this down, because we're going to be using this later. Perverse. It says obstinate in the wrong. Read.
Disposed to be contrary.
So a froward person is disposed to be contrary. We just read the definition of madness, which was the root of drunk, is a person who's headstrong, whose headstrong passion and rashness that act in the opposition to reason. So this perverse person, this froward person, is disposed to be contrary, or what?
Stubborn.
Or stubborn. All these fancy definitions of words is just saying this person is stubborn. He don't want to listen. She doesn't want to listen. So go back to that Psalms 18 and 26 again.
Psalms chapter 18 and verse 26. With the pure, thou will show thyself pure, and with the froward, thou will show thyself froward.
When you're dealing with this stubborn, froward person, the Most High is not going to deal with them according to the blessings which He originated for us. And Christ understood that. Christ understood that in Matthew 13 and 15, that this people, our nation, are prone to be froward, are prone to be stubborn, are prone to be unyielding. Read that, Matthew 13 and verse 15.
Come.
It says, so the pure get the spirit of a sound mind, but the froward, they get that drunken spirit. They get that opposite disobedient spirit. Give me that, Matthew 13 and verse 15.
Matthew chapter 13, verse 15.
And if I'm going too fast, let me know. I don't want to rush this. All right?
God.
All right, let's read that.
For this people's heart is waxed gross.
It said, Christ said, this people's heart is waxed gross. And what does that mean?
Their mind is not clear.
Partially, yeah. Partially. When you look up the word gross, gross means to be fat.
Full of themselves, or full of their own opinion, perspective, with the reluctance to receive instruction.
When a man's heart is gross, is waxed gross, that is the byproduct of it. But that's not what that means. Waxed gross means it's grown fat. Fat, by definition, means unteachable. So read that again.
Come. This is Matthew chapter 13, verse 15. For this people's heart is waxed gross.
This people's heart has become unteachable. Our people don't listen. Our people are disobedient. Our people are stubborn. All we're doing is identifying the spirit of drunkenness because it has many roots into it. It's deeper than just they're acting delirious. They're saying crazy things. No, it's deeper than that. By nature, a drunken person is someone who's stubborn and can't be told anything. The reason why they're contrary to the truth, they're contrary to reason, is because they don't believe that their reason is wrong. Which means what? I can't be told anything. This is what Christ identified. Read it again.
God. Matthew 13, verse 15. For this people's heart is waxed gross, and their ears are dull of hearing.
Meaning what? They don't want to hear anymore. Our people don't want to hear reproof. They don't want to hear a better way of doing things. They don't want to hear how they're thinking, how they're operating is off. How they're being fraud right now. Because Christ had blessings for us. Christ had the blessing of a sound mind for us. But because we're forward, because we're stubborn, because we're disobedient, He can't give us that blessing of a sound mind. He'll give you over to your thought process. He'll give you over to that contrary mind that's disposed to be in opposition. That's what He's about to show us. Keep reading.
And their eyes they have closed.
Meaning what? I can't hear and I can't see. I can't hear instruction. I don't want to hear instruction. It says I'm dull of hearing. And I refuse to see the truth. That's why the delirium person does not correspond with the truth. Because I don't want to see the truth. I don't want to see my way of operating is off. It's negative. Keep reading.
Lest at any time they should see with their eyes, and hear with their ears, and should understand with their heart.
So our people close our eyes and close our ears intentionally. Because I don't want to see it. I don't want to see how you're operating, how you're telling me is the right way of doing things. Because I think I'm right. I think I'm okay. I don't need the change. I don't need the correction. Keep reading.
And should be converted, and I should heal them. But blessed are your eyes, for they see, and your ears, for they hear.
Go back to that last part again.
God, the latter end of 15.
15.
It says, and should be converted, and I should heal them.
Because if I close my eyes, then I can't change. I don't know if you've ever heard someone say, why don't you accept me for who I am? Or, You knew who I was. Why are you changing up on me? Why are you trying to change me? I thought you loved who I was. The problem is, the world teaches you to accept the person you're with for what they bring to the table. The world teaches you wherever you're at in life, that should be acceptable by somebody. Someone will accept your deficiencies. You don't need to change you because you're perfect in your own way. That's bullshit. Excuse my French. No, you're not perfect in your own way. If you're living in Christ, you should be seeing and identifying your deficiencies and looking for answers to get closer with the Most High. Looking for the necessary instructions needed to reprove and correct whatever deficiency is in your mind. But the drunk person can't see that. The drunk in the spirit can't see that. They can't see that they're the problem. They can't see their way of operating and thinking is what's causing the issues in their life. So the person that closes their eyes, closes their ears, refuses to be teachable, the Most High will give to the fraud. It says what? It says that to the fraud, he will be fraud. So what does that mean? How does the Most High respond when a man rejects knowledge? When a man rejects instruction? When a man can't be teachable? Go to Job, chapter 12 and verse 20. Man, this thing is a pain in the tail. Job, chapter 12 and verse 20. Give me a second, brother. I'm doing it by myself right now.
Job, chapter 12, verse 20.
One second.
What was that scripture, Matthew?
Matthew 13. Right, 13 and 15. And again, Christ knows our people's mind. He knows naturally we don't want to listen. We don't want to change. We don't want to hear the instruction. But he's going to deal with this according to our level of obedience. Read that. Job 12, verse 20.
God. He removeth away the speech of the trusty.
So what's the result of a man not wanting to be teachable? What is the result or the outcome of a man not wanting to see his way of thinking is off? His way of thinking is contrary. Read it from top.
He removeth away the speech of the trusty.
It says he will remove the speech of the trusty. Meaning what? Your advice will become dull. Your counsel will no longer be trusted. Your counsel will no longer be needed. Keep reading.
And taketh away the understanding of the age.
And he'll take away that sound mind he gave you. Because remember, the gift you were originally given from the Most High was a sound mind, an understanding or a clear mind. But you stopped wanting to listen. You stopped being teachable. So I'm going to take that gift from you. Because you want to be stubborn, I'm going to deal with you forward. You want to be forward, I'm going to take it away from you. Because that pureness is no longer there. Jump to 24.
God. He taketh away the hearts of the chief of the people of the earth.
That's the point. He'll take away your mind. He'll take away your soundness. Remember, that madness was what? A state in which the ideas of a person are wild, irregular, and unconnected, or do not correspond with the truth. The Most High will take away that spirit of you to where you can't see the truth anymore. To where your understanding, the soundness of your mind is gone. Read on.
And causeth them to wander in a wilderness where there is no way.
Meaning what? If I'm going to a wilderness where there's no way, no direction, what does it reflect? What does it show?
It means I'm just stumbling. I'm wandering around.
It means I make go back to the delirium again. I make wild, irregular, unconnected decisions. My decisions, my life choices, my actions in life don't make any sense. Why would I go in a wilderness where there's no end, where there's no direction, where I have no destination, no point? What you got?
You're aimless.
You're aimless. You're aimlessly walking. You're just moving without reason. Or you're moving in opposition to reason. Read on 25.
God. They grope in the dark without light.
And that's the point. They grope in the dark without light. But not only that, the Most High attaches a name to that person. He gives a title to this type of mentality. Read that. Read on.
God. And he maketh them to stagger like a drunken man.
So a person who has lost his heart, lost his mind, lost the soundness of his mind, due to his unwillingness to follow, his unwillingness to listen, is referred to and regarded to as what?
A drunken man.
A drunken man. This is what we're going into today. We're establishing and identifying what are the characteristics of a spiritually drunken man. Isaiah 19 and verse 14. And we're going to need that perverse definition again.
Okay.
Isaiah chapter 19 and verse 14.
19 and verse 14. Let's slow this down a little bit. Yeah. Read that.
Come. The Most High have mingled a perverse spirit in the midst thereof.
So this is talking about Egypt, right? The curse for Egypt is a perverse spirit. Now give me that definition of perverse again.
Perverse, definition 2.
Obstinate in the wrong, disposed to be contrary.
So the Most High was planning on sinning, or he's going to sin a perverse spirit, which means what? Disposed to be contrary or stubborn. All right. Now, although we're talking about Egypt, we can identify this in us today. This is not just an Egypt thing. Because Egypt got a perverse spirit. What was the result of that perverse spirit? Read on. Isaiah.
And they have caused Egypt to err in every work thereof.
So because of this perverse spirit, which is by definition disposed to be contrary or stubborn, the result of my stubbornness is what? Read it again.
Come. They have caused Egypt to err in every work thereof.
Everything I touch is going to fail. Everything I touch, everything I give my mind to is going to be a mistake. My households will start falling apart. My relationship with my brothers, my friends will start falling apart. My own reasoning will start falling apart. But what was the root of it? I was stubborn. I was disposed to be contrary. Who are we being contrary to? The Most High. Because I don't want to hear the Most High's wisdom. I can't be instructed. I'm unteachable, like Christ said. My heart has grown unteachable. My ears have grown dull. I've closed my eyes. I don't want to see the truth anymore. Because I think my way is correct. What we don't realize is our way leads to errors in every work thereof. But the crazy part is this. We just read in Job 20. When the Most High understands and knows, or it was Job 12 and 24. When the Most High knows, understands that we've grown perverse or we've grown stubborn, He will take the heart of the men, of the age, of the understanding, and give you a spirit in return. I will remove my sound mind from you, and I will give you a mind that is prone to be perverse, prone to be stubborn, prone to be contrary. That's what it means. To the pure, I'll show myself pure. But to the froward, I'll show myself froward. The froward is the disobedient. If you want to be froward, then that's the spirit I'm going to give you. I'm going to give you the spirit of disobedience, being disposed to be contrary. If you want to be pure, if you want to listen, if you want to be teachable, I'll give you that sound mind. But we're dealing with the drunken man in spirit. This man has accepted the fact he's not hearing counsel. He's not hearing answers. He's not teachable. He's accepted it. So what is the result? Read it again from the top.
Come. Isaiah chapter 19 and verse 14 from the top. The Most High have mingled a perverse spirit in the midst thereof, and they have caused Egypt to err in every work thereof.
So the spirit of perversion, the spirit that's disposed to be contrary, will err in every work thereof. This is the spirit that will destroy job opportunities. This is the spirit that will destroy his household development. This is the spirit that will destroy clientele. This is the spirit that will make mistakes with his brothers in Christ, his sisters in Christ. This is that spirit that will err in every work thereof. But why? Because they didn't want to listen. Keep reading.
Come. As a drunken man staggereth in his vomit.
Again, their regard to as what?
Drunken man.
So is the drunkenness the alcohol? Is the drunkenness the liquor, the Modelo, the wine, the sweet wine? Or is it the fact that I'm stubborn? I'm contrary. I don't want to hear what you're telling me anymore. I don't think I'm that bad. What is the result? Why are we failing? Why are we making so many mistakes? We have to identify the root of this. Man, this thing is awesome. Give me 2 Thessalonians 2 and verse 10. Man.
Usually flip the base.
Oh.
The base should be flipped.
Yeah. 2 and verse 10. It's going to be through 12.
Come.
10.
2 Thessalonians 2.
2 Thessalonians chapter 2 and verse 10.
1 second. Okay.
Ready?
Yeah, let's get that.
And with all deceivableness of unrighteousness in them that perish, because they receive not the love of the truth.
So what was the reason why they perished?
Because they received not the love of the truth.
I didn't want to see the truth. So because I don't want to see the truth, I'm going to be disposed to being contrary. Read on.
That they might be saved.
I don't want to see that what you're telling me is for my benefit. I don't want to see that what you're telling me is because you're affecting somebody else. Because your actions, your errors, your mistakes are causing somebody else or many people to fall behind you. I can't see my error, my mistakes, because I don't love the truth. And we're going to find out it's revealing our lack of love for Christ. I can't hear. I don't want to hear. I'm unteachable. I'm ungovernable. Read on.
And for this cause.
So the result of that is this. What is the Most High going to do when a man has decided, I don't love the truth? Through his actions, through his rebelliousness, through his stubbornness. Read it again.
And for this cause the Most High shall send them strong delusion.
The Most High will give you a strong delusion to make you believe, you know what? I am right. You're blatantly wrong. You're blatantly contrary. You're blatantly making mistakes. But you don't want to be taught. You don't want to be told nothing. So I'm going to make you believe. I'll make you double down on your wickedness, on your contrary nature. I'm going to give you the forward spirit since you want to be forward so bad. Keep reading.
That they should believe a lie.
So now I start believing that I'm on point. That it's everybody else's fault around me. Everybody else is wrong. Everybody else is the problem. They don't see what I'm going through. They don't see how they affected me. This is why I reacted that way. You can't be told anything. Scripturally, I refuse. I don't want to hear. Don't give me biblical answers, because I know I'm right. I have my own biblical answers that show that I'm right. I believe in my own scriptures. I believe in my own answers. Read that again from 11.
2 Thessalonians chapter 2 and verse 11. For this cause the Most High shall send them strong delusion, that they should believe a lie.
So because I don't want to hear, I don't want to receive the instruction, the correction, the Most High will give me that strong delusion so that I believe in what I think about myself. Give me a definition of delirium again.
Delirium, a state in which the ideas of a person are wild.
So now I believe in my what? My wild ideas. I believe in my what? Read on.
Sorry,
the definition. Sorry.
Irregular.
I believe in my irregular ideas. My irregular perspective. Read on.
And unconnected.
Oh, my thoughts they make sense to me, even though nobody else gets it. Nobody else understands where I'm coming from, because I just think so deep. My level of understanding is so deep. Nobody else gets it, but I know I'm right. They must be wrong. They don't have the right scriptures. They're not applying the knowledge correctly. I am. Read on.
Or do not correspond with the truth.
So I believe my lies. I become a liar by believing in my lies. Read that again.
2 Thessalonians chapter 2 and verse 11. And for this cause the Most High shall send them strong delusion.
And because of this, the Most High will send them a strong delusion. Read.
That they should believe a lie. That they all might be damned who believe not the truth.
And this is the point. This is what happened in Egypt. This was the perverse spirit the Most High was sending in Egypt. This is how you know it's not talking just about Egypt. It's the spirit of a perverse man. If you have this belief, this notion of being contrary, then you're going to be damned. You're going to keep making mistakes. You're going to keep messing up relationship with the people around you. Read it, verse 12 again.
Con, that they all might be damned who believe not the truth, but had pleasure in unrighteousness.
Because you had pleasure, you had security in your own way of looking at things. You thought the way you were processing information, you thought the way that you function in your life this whole time has been correct. So why am I being told something different? You don't know what I went through. You don't know what I've experienced. This has always worked for me. Why are you telling me anything different right now? I never had a problem with this before. This must be a new thing. No, it's never been a new thing. You're just finally being told the truth. Or maybe you've been told the truth the whole time. You just never accepted it. So because you don't accept it, you've been believing a lie for years and adding to that lie. Well, you know what? They didn't even know about it. They didn't know anything about me. That's why they kept telling me. They didn't know enough about me. They don't know my history. They don't know my childhood. They don't know how I was brought up. The camp didn't understand. They didn't understand me. No, the Most High just stopped dealing with you. You rejected him. You rejected the truth. So guess what? I'm going to send you a lie. Give me this in Philo. Give me this in Philo real quick. It's y'all, you got it. It's page 208. In the 15th point.
Page 208, point 15. Therefore.
Yes, sir. Now, just to give some context, this is explaining the compounding sins of a man who was put to death, and it was deriving from the story of Deuteronomy 21. All right, so a man that was put to death, he made 4 mistakes. But what you're going to find out, it was all derived from one bigger mistake. Read that real quick.
Philo 208. It says, therefore, here the accusations are 4 in number.
So there are 4 things. There are 4 accusations against this man. Read on.
Disobedience.
So disobedience was one. Read it.
And
contentiousness.
Contentiousness.
Meaning what? They're always going back and forth with somebody. Strifing. They got railing for railing with somebody. Read on.
And love of rebelling.
Meaning what? They love saying harmful words. They love offending somebody. So not only are they having these strifes and these revilings, but they're offensive in their language as well. Yep. Read on.
And drunkenness.
And drunkenness. It's that drunkenness spirit again. Well, read on.
And the last of these is the greatest.
The last offense was the greatest offense. The drunkenness, and it's not just talking about drinking alcohol, and we're going to prove that in a second, but the drunkenness was the greatest offense of all 4 of them. Why? Read.
Deriving its growth from the first.
So where did the drunkenness come from? How did it start?
The disobedience.
That's the point. The drunkenness, the greatest offense of all 4 of them, derived and started from the disobedience. I stopped being one to be told anything. I became unteachable. That perverse spirit, which is disposed to be contrary, is now ruling my thoughts. And once I had that drunken spirit, or really that disobedient spirit, what follows? Read on.
It says, namely, from disobedience. For when the soul begins to be restive.
Hold on, we gotta get that, because that's a powerful word in itself. It's in 1828. It's gonna be restif. Restif. R-E-S-T-I-F.
God.
I'll read again. It says, for when the soul begins to be restif. Read that.
God. Restif. Unwilling to go.
Hold on. It says, yep, read all that. Yep.
God. Restif. Unwilling to go or only running back. obstinate and refusing to move forward.
So I stopped wanting to grow. Keep reading.
Stubborn.
That stubborn spirit again. Jump to verse 2.
Unyielding as restive stubbornness.
So it says when the soul begins to be restive, when the spirit begins to be stubborn, when I start being, and we're going to find out, the root of that. But when I stop wanting to hear what's right, when I stop wanting to hear where I'm off at, when I stop wanting to be told where I'm wrong at, it says when the soul begins to restive. Read on, y'all.
It says, for when the soul begins to be restive, it advances onward through contention.
What's the next step? What's the next step when a man doesn't want to listen anymore?
It advances onward through contention.
It advances onward to contentions. When I don't want to be told anything anymore, what have I developed?
Contention.
No.
I was like,
I developed pride. Hold on. We got to prove that. Hold on. Yeah, let's do it. Proverbs 13:10. Keep reading that. Hold that, and we'll come back to it. I didn't want to jump, but we're going to have to.
I get it.
Yeah. Proverbs 13:10.
Proverbs chapter 13, verse 10 reads.
So, I'm going to read that part again. It says, for when the soul begins to receive it, when the spirit or the mind of the man begins to reject or begins to become stubborn in attaining understanding and being teachable, it says it advances, or rather the spirit advances onward through contention. Read that.
Proverbs chapter 13 and verse 10 reads.
So was it the disobedience that caused the contention, or was it what? Read.
Only by pride.
Only by pride. What? How do I get contention between men, between households, between women? Where does the striving come from? Read it again.
Only by pride cometh contention.
So only by the pride of a man comes the contention. Because I think I'm right. I believe in my lie. Give me that madness again. I believe in my contrary way of thinking. I'm passionate about my belief. So I'm going to argue with you because I don't see what you're telling me. I don't see what you see. I don't think you know what you're talking about. You don't know enough about me to check me, to tell me where I'm off. Give me madness.
Madness, extreme folly,
Yep.
headstrong passion, and with rashness that act in opposition to reason.
So that pride is the example, or is the madness of a man comes from his pride. Because I'm passionate about what I believe. I'm passionate that you don't know what you're talking to me about. You don't know what you see in me. You're not analyzing me enough. You don't deserve to be in your position. Because you can't properly dissect what's wrong with me. But the reality is, nobody can properly dissect what's wrong with you. Because you don't believe anything's wrong with you. You don't see the issue. So we can sit here and bounce from counselor to counselor and still not get a result. Because again, you're not going to see it. You don't think it's you. Let that go. We're going to come back to that in a little bit. Give me that back in Philo again, sir.
Yes, sir. Philo, it says, for when the soul begins to restive.
So when that soul begins to become stubborn, when they stop being able to be molded, what does that spirit advance to? Read on.
It advances onward through contention and quarrelsomeness.
Now I'm constantly in an argument with somebody. My name is always attached to another counsel, another argument, another outbreak. There's never peace when my name is associated with it. Because my stubbornness has now evolved. It may have started with just basic or simple disobedience. But that disobedience has grown to a perverse spirit. That perversion, that mind that's disposed to be contrary, is now arguing with those that are trying to teach you the truth. Because I can't see the truth. I refuse the truth. Keep reading.
It says, and arrives at last at the furthest boundary, drunkenness.
So that contention, That disobedience goes from disobedience or basic stubbornness to contention and quarrelsomeness, and it goes all the way to drunkenness. To now I'll never be able to see. To at this point, you can't teach me nothing. I believe so strongly in my delusion, it's hard for me to go back. Keep reading.
The cause of alienation.
Whoa! What is the cause of your alienation? Of what?
The alienation of mind and folly.
What is the cause of my foolishness that's causing me to err in every work? What is the cause of my alienation of mind? The losing of my sound mind.
Drunkenness or disobedience.
But the disobedience derives its growth from what? Or the drunkenness derives its growth from disobedience. That was the root of it. It started when I didn't want to listen. I refused the basic order. I refused instruction. It starts small, but it grows. It matures into a blown out drunkenness. So now you've completely alienated your mind and folly. That's that spirit in Job 12 where the Most High removes the understanding from you. And then he'll throw in the perverse spirit in exchange, which is basically reprobate. I just can't see it anymore. I don't see what you're saying. Let that go and follow. Go to Jeremiah 51:7. Because we gotta understand that this spirit started somewhere. This spirit matures and manifests itself in the environment in which we grew up in, the world in which we grew up in. Read that, Jeremiah 51:7.
God, this is Jeremiah 51, verse 7. Babylon hath been a golden cup in the Lord's hand, that made all the earth drunken.
So Babylon, the world, or the nations, have made the world drunken. Read that again from the top.
God, this is Jeremiah chapter 51, verse 7. Babylon hath been a golden cup in the Lord's hand, that hath made all the earth drunken.
What society tells you you don't need to change? You're good as you are. The nation. What environment teaches you your way of thinking is the correct way, as long as you believe? Believe in yourself. Manifest your own destiny.
This world.
You don't need advice from others. Be your own counselor.
Right.
Where does that mentality come from?
This is the world.
It says that made all the earth drunken. Babylon being what? America. America sells you the dream.
American dream.
Part of the dream is thinking you're living in the safest country in the world. You're living in the top country. That's the first lie you believe in. But the second lie you believe in is you're okay in the mind. If we were okay in the mind, living in America, then why does pharmacy sell the highest drugs for psychedelic issues? Why do we have so many mental disorders in America? If the example America was teaching was the right one. If Babylon was truly the golden cup, if they were truly the standard in which we were supposed to follow, we wouldn't have these mental deficiencies. It says, but they've made the world believe in a lie. They made you believe that you were okay. So you grew up operating in a lie. And you only got more stronger and more passionate about who you thought you were as a person, to where you can't be told anything different.
Depression and suicide.
You said what?
Depression, suicide.
God. You know, the depression manifests itself when your idea of yourself doesn't manifest. When who you thought you were isn't who you actually are. That's one of the causes of depression. When I don't measure up to the standard that I was told I was. When I realized I wasn't the smartest. When I realized I wasn't the most intuitive. When all my friends around me are living better lives. Now all of a sudden I'm depressed now. I could do the same thing. My way of thinking, my way of operating becomes a delusion. It becomes delirium. It becomes madness. I become obsessive with what I think I should be doing in my life. You can buy all the self-help books you want, all the get-rich-fast books you want. That wasn't meant for you. And that's just one aspect. But keep reading that in Jeremiah 51:7.
I start from start. Jeremiah 51 verse 7. Babylon hath been a golden cup in the Lord's hand, that made all the earth drunken. The nations
Hold on. Read it again.
Babylon hath been a golden cup in the Lord's hand, that made all the earth drunken.
Mm-hmm.
The nations have drunken of her wine.
So what it shows is, it's a choice to drink of the wine of the nations. It's a choice to drink of the wine of America. It's a choice to partake in the mind of America. It's a choice. Read on.
Therefore, the nations are mad.
Because the nations have drunk in this dream, in this ideal, in this ideology. And the result of drinking or partaking in this contrary idea is madness, which is drunkenness. Because now you're passionate about, hold on, it says, now you have headstrong passion and rashness that act in opposition to reason. But what reason are you acting in opposition to? Biblical reason. Your opinion is not matching the Bible.
Yeah.
Your way of thinking is contrary to the scriptures. Because you've taken on the mind that the nations have taken on. Which is what? Pride. I think I'm okay. I've read enough books to know I'm okay. I did enough schooling in my life to know I'm okay. I make enough money to know I'm okay. Or even better, my friends say I'm okay. My friends say you can do better. My friends say you can live an even better life if you wish. I have another option for you. Whatever your vice is, whatever your go-to mentality is, it's all attributes of the world. It's all attributes of the lust of the flesh. That's all that's in the world. The pride of life. The lust of the eyes. Those things. The money. The false insecurity. The false sense of reality that you've created outside of the truth is why you're so headstrong. My family is why I'm so headstrong. Because we had a family for so long, I don't need to be told anything. We're just having a hiccup right now. It's just a hiccup. No, it's not a hiccup. This spiritual deficiency has been boiling over for a very long time. And the longer you refuse to hear and be teachable, the more the Most High is removing your understanding from it. The more the Most High is putting you in a situation where you need to go to Him. But once we've gotten to that mentality, we don't want to go to Him. That's the trick. Once we've gotten so low, so prideful, so stubborn, I don't want to hear any more information.
So it has the opposite effect then.
God. It has the opposite effect for a person that's drunk in the spirit. For a person that doesn't want to hear knowledge. Because it should, the shame of everything failing around you, of making a mistake. Like Isaiah 19:14 said, you will err in every work thereof. That should bring shame. That should motivate you to change. To see why am I falling short? That's what it should do. But for the person that's stuck in his pride, the person that's stubborn, that's drunk in the spirit, I don't want to hear that answer. I don't think I'm that bad. But you know what? The Most High is still gracious. Because He still sent teachers for those particular people. And He warned us that this is the nature of our people. Give me Ezekiel 3 in verse 5.
Ezekiel chapter 3, verse 5.
1 second, sir. I need to type it in notes. Ezekiel 3 and verse 5. Ezekiel chapter 3. Alright. Yeah. Yes, sir.
God. But thou art not sent to a people of a strange speech, of an hard language, but to the house of Israel.
So the Most High let us know you're not going to be sent to people that can't hear the words that come out your mouth. They can understand you. They can physically hear what you're saying. They're not hard of speech or hard of language. There's not an interpretation boundary. But this is the house of Israel. This is your people. This is your kinfolk. This is your neighbors. People you see at the store. The brothers in the classroom. The sisters in the classroom. Your families. You know them. That nobody knew. Read on.
Not too many people of a strange speech and of an hard language, whose words thou canst understand.
You're not going to China having to teach the Mandarinese people or speak in Mandarin. That's not who you're going with. Let the Israelites in China teach them. You're teaching the one that speak English because you know English. So teach them. You know these people. Read on.
Surely, had I sent thee to them, they would have hearkened unto thee.
It says, of a hard language whose words thou cannot understand. So they can understand what you're saying. It says, surely, had I sent thee to them, they would have hearkened unto thee. Meaning, they should have hearkened unto you. They should listen to what you're saying. They should hear the instruction. They should be teachable. But we know what Christ said in Matthew 13. Our hearts have waxed gross. It has grown fat, meaning what? Unteachable. By nature, I don't want to be told anything anymore. So although I can understand the words that are coming out your mouth, I can't understand the words that are coming out your mouth. That's the reality. I don't know what you're telling me right now. Those answers don't make any sense. Brother, I appreciate the counsel, but I don't think that's for me, man. You know what I'm saying? That must be somebody else. No, it's not.
Just rejecting it.
That's the point. You reject it. Read on.
But the house of Israel will not hearken unto thee.
This is what the Most High is saying. The house of Israel was supposed to listen to you. They were supposed to hear you, but they're not going to listen to you. They're stubborn. They're perverse. Their mindset is to be contrary. They've accepted their contrary nature. You know why they accepted their contrary nature? Read on.
For they will not hearken unto me.
Because they don't listen to the Most High. I don't see my life falling apart. I don't see the correlation. I don't see the Most High stinging me. So what are you going to do to help change me? If I can't correlate the Most High and my stings and my chastising as a lesson, then what is a man's word going to do? So I'm going to send them to you, servant, Bible reader. I'm not calling nobody a priest. We're just Bible readers. The Bible readers that try to live Christ-like. Right? I'm going to send you, Bible reader, to go try to show them the Bible. I'm going to try to show you the scriptures. So maybe you can paint a clear picture. Maybe I'm going to try a different method. I'm going to send you instead, because obviously they don't want to hear me. But I know they're not going to listen anyway. I know what's in their nature. I know what's in their heart. They're perverse. They're drunk. They're blind. They believe in what they believe in. Keep reading.
For all the house of Israel are impudent and hard-hearted.
We're hard-hearted. We don't want to hear the answers. We don't want to see wisdom. We're wise in our own conceits. Keep reading.
Behold, I have made thy face strong against their faces.
No, I don't want that. I don't want that. So, let that go. Let's go to Proverbs 13 and verse 10. We just went there again. We just went there, but we have to understand that stubborn spirit, that rebellious spirit, the result of that rebellious spirit is that contention. The result of that stubbornness, the result of trying to hear the word, will only stir contention. Because I've accepted them out. If I don't want to listen to the Most High, then stop talking to me biblically. Because I don't want to hear that. That's what's said without being said. Israel may not say it, but their actions speak a lot louder. Yeah, you're telling me wisdom, but the next day I don't see it. I don't agree no more. I don't believe it. Proverbs 13 and 10.
Proverbs chapter 13 and verse 10. Only by pride cometh contention.
So we just read in that Philo that the evolution of disobedience is the contention and quarrelsomeness, the going back and forth. But that pride is established because I don't want to hear what I'm being told. So I'm going to argue with you. I'm going to blow up a situation that doesn't have to get this heated. But the Most High also shows the contrary nature. Keep reading.
But with the well-advised,
the well-advised, the one that is teachable, the one that can be told, hey, bro, it's not the right way of going about things. Biblically, let me show you where you're off right here. It says the well-advised. Read that again.
Proverbs chapter 13 and verse 10. Man. Only by pride cometh contention.
Only by pride. That pride in us out. That's where the strife, the debates are coming from. That's where the arguments are coming from.
I want to catch up on what you just said because I want to make sure I'm getting it right. Mm-hmm. When we just quoted that verse, mm-hmm. well advised, mm-hmm. quote that portion of it. Are you saying the well advised, in other words, is the ones with the most open mind and most open to receive and most humble and display the most humility?
Yes, because you know what?
I've never looked at it that way. That's dope.
Because
okay.
We just read, which Christ has said, by nature, our people's heart wax gross. Meaning they don't want to be teachable. So because I don't want to be teachable, how can I ever attain the wisdom of the Most High?
I always thought the most taught, like the most years in the truth kind of, but that ain't necessarily true.
No.
That okay, you just opened up some more understanding.
I think maybe is that the person that's open to be advised?
That's exactly what I was saying.
I
wouldn't look
because
at it like that.
To be teachable means I'm able to receive the teaching.
Right.
Versus I don't want to hear the teaching.
Mm-hmm.
Right. We're showing the difference between the prideful man, because we're still dealing with the pride. Is just the disobedience. But disobedience or drunkenness is let me say this. Disobedience is the early stage of drunkenness, mm-hmm. which is full-blown rebellion, which is full-blown stubbornness, which I don't want. I can't see nothing.
Spiritual drunkenness, you're talking about.
But the stubbornness is the beginning stage.
Right.
The pride is the beginning stage. Okay. That's why there's contentions. We'll get to, we got some verses on that as well.
Right.
But
and if I can say something, I mean, I know it's basic, but so what you're saying is, even if you feel like that's not for you, you should leave yourself open to be advised and go on through with what your counsel is saying, basically.
You know, the problem
no matter if it hurts, no matter what.
Well, you know, the Bible says correction is grievous unto those that are forsaken the way. Correction doesn't feel good to those that don't want to see the truth.
Okay.
That don't want the Most High. It don't feel good if I don't want to be checked by the Most High.
Right.
But if I understand that it's not in man to direct his steps, if I understand that every man's clean in his own eyes,
right, but
not according to the cleanness of the Most High measured by,
right,
then I have to accept the correction. If I can't be biblically shown where I'm off, then that lets you know where you're at in the spirit. Whether it be just the basic disobedience, or now I'm going back and forth with you because I don't believe in the verses you're pulling. I don't believe it. The Most High will take that understanding from you. He'll take your ability to understand from you and just leave you in a drunken state, in a delirious state. That's the spirit in which we're identifying right here. But we're still in the beginning. We're still establishing the pride is how it elevated to the contentions. That's a major point in Israel too. There's always arguing. There's always fighting. I can't just be told, hey, bro, you need to fix this, without getting a quick response. Well, what about you? Well, what about this? well, I think, if we're going to be calling, if we're going to showing everybody stuff, then, okay, brother, that's fine. That's fine. But all that's showing, that's pride. You're not humble. Because if you're humble, you just take the check. You know what? You're right.
So disobedience leads to
disobedient.
Pride, and pride leads to contention.
No, because we said this. That follow. Let me read it again.
Gotcha.
It says, you got it?
Yeah, I got you.
Okay.
Oh, from the top?
Yeah, we'll read it from the top again.
15, paragraph 15. Therefore, hear the accusations. The four are four in number.
So the crazy thing about this is, this man that was put on trial, he he was accused of 4 offenses. But when you look at the spirit of it, that last offense encompasses every last one of them.
Right.
So he may have did these 4 different things, but it was still just one mindset he had. It was still just one lust of the flesh aspect he had, which is pride, which is stubbornness. But read on.
It says our 4 number: disobedience.
Yep.
And contentiousness, and love of reveling, and drunkenness.
So he was disobedient. He was contentious. He was argumentative. He loved rebelling. He loved saying offensive words. This brother is loose-lipped, talks a lot of smack, quick to rebuttal, and drunkenness. I mean, I'm just blind to the truth. And I'm passionate about my lie, my delusion. Read on.
It says, and the last of these is the greatest.
The last, being the drunkenness, is the greatest offense. The drunken spirit, the stubborn mind, is the greatest offense. Read on.
Deriving its growth from the first.
But it started with the disobedience. It grew to drunkenness. The stubbornness grew to drunkenness. The disobedience grew to drunkenness. But the stubbornness, the disobedience, is only still pride. Because I think my way of looking at things is correct.
I see. Okay.
And to prove that, keep reading.
It says, deriving its growth from the first, namely from disobedience. For, it says, for when the soul begins to be restive.
So when the soul begins to resist, read.
It advances onward through contention.
And this is how you know that disobedience is actually pride. Let's read that again in Proverbs 13 and 10.
Proverbs chapter 13 and verse 10. Only by pride cometh contention.
And that's the connection. It's not the disobedience that stirred the contention and the quarrels. It's the pride. It's your false belief that starts the contentions and the quarrels. Contrary to the wise person who's well advised, who's open to hear instruction. And not just hears it, but lives it. That still have to be a doer of the word, not a hearer only. That's another class in itself. But I got to be able to receive it. I got to be able to see your perspective. Because my perspective is not correct. Can I accept that? Can I acknowledge that? That's the problem with our people. But that's taught in the world. That's why we went to Jeremiah 51. Because that drunkenness, that madness, is your belief in a falsehood. You're living in a false reality in the world. You think your ish don't stink, but it does. Your actions are highly offensive to the Most High. And just because you've come from the world doesn't mean you've been rejuvenized all of a sudden. We're dealing with worldly aspects and the truth. And as the teacher, you have to be prepared for dealing with these scenarios. As a leader in Christ, you have to be prepared for identifying these scenarios. As a brother who's learning, can I identify them myself and help others identify so all of us can grow? That's the point which we're bringing out. Let that go in Proverbs 13 and 10. Let's go to Ecclesiastes 21 and 6.
Ecclesiastes in the Apocrypha, chapter 21 and verse 6. He that hateth to be reproved is in the way of sinners.
Read that again. You got to read that again, bro.
He that hateth to be reproved is in the way of sinners.
He that hateth to be reproved is in the way of sinners. If you don't like instruction, you're walking the path of a sinner. You're walking the path of the contrary. We always talk about the wide gate. You know what the wide gate is? It's a lot of people who are on that sinful path, that disobedient path, that stubborn path. They can't be told nothing path. Read on.
But he that feareth the Lord will repent from his heart.
The reason why you're a sinner and you're walking the way of sinners because you don't really fear the Lord like you think you do. Because if I feared the Lord, I would take the correction of the Lord. If I feared the Lord, I'd take his understanding and try to grow from it. I take the sting and grow from it. If I don't feel the consequence, I'm gonna keep doing it. If it doesn't become urgent to me, I'm gonna keep doing it. Let that go. Let's go to 28:9 and still in Ecclesiastes. So it says, he that cannot be reproved is in the way of sinners. 28:9.
Let me know when you're ready.
I'm ready, sir.
Ecclesiastes chapter 28 and verse 9 reads, A sinful man disquieteth friends.
So, whoa, hold on. We got to break that down. He that doesn't want to be reproved is in the way of sinners. So who is this sinful man? A man that can't be reproved. We got to identify that first. What sinful man are we talking about? The sinful man we're talking about is the one who doesn't want to be told anything. So because I don't want to be told anything, because I got pride, read on.
A sinful man disquieteth friends.
He's always making a ruckus amongst his peers. There's always an argument. There's always contention. Keep reading.
And maketh debate among them that be at peace.
Why are you always debating? Because I don't agree. Why is there always an argument? Because I don't want to be checked. I don't want to be told I'm off. I can't see your perspective. This is a sinful man. This is a man that will point out and will blow up the smallest things. Will magnify the smallest things. Can't be told anything. Let that go. Ecclesiastes 19:1. What you got?
I just had a thought on that. Ecclesiastes